All right, now that we have finished Unit 1 in Interior Design 2, where we talked about all the elements and principles and we reviewed what we went over in Interior Design 1, we are officially moving on to Unit 2 in Interior Design 2, where we talk about actual Interior Design 2 type topics, and you start to learn some new things. So in Unit 2, we'll be discussing architectural features and styles, and I'm actually going to go through all of them in this one video just to kind of, so we can get caught up and make sure we go, we don't get behind because I've been so sick lately, but that way we can move on when I get back. So day 1 is roof styles. Let's talk about different roof styles. Your first one is called a gable roof, and this is where a roof has 2 sloping sides and a gable at each end. If you look at the little diagram on the right side of this slide, the yellow highlighted part, that's a gable. And so when that triangle, I guess, is viewed with the roof. And so if you look at the picture on the left, you can see the siding in the gables, and that is a gable roof. I'll show you some more examples. Okay, the triangle piece is viewable, if that makes sense. Okay, then we have a gambrel roof. This is similar to, they're very, very common in homes up on in the eastern part of the United States, like in New Hampshire, the Hamptons, things like that. You won't see them a lot here. They are popular roofs for barns, though. And so if you see any barns, they most likely have a roof like this, or a shed or a garage. And so this is a gambrel roof with 2 slopes on each side, and the lower slope being steeper. So if you look at the picture, the little diagram on the right side, you'll see that there is 2 slopes. You got the top piece, then you have 1 slope, and then a second slope that is steeper, and that's a gambrel. Here are some examples of those gambrel roofs that you may see. Okay, and then we have a hip roof. So our 2 most common roofs that you're going to see over and over and over again as you're driving is going to be a hip and a gable. Those are your 2 most popular roofs, and you'll see hundreds of them as you drive through neighborhoods and things like that. The other ones we talk about are a little less common, so it's kind of more exciting when you find them and when you see them. But the hip and the gable are in every single neighborhood on pretty much every single house. So this is where it's a lot more shallow roof. It's not as steep as a gable roof. And the triangle piece that is usually viewable in a gable roof is now covered with a roof. And so it's like the roof kind of has hips, if that makes sense, which is why it's called a hip roof. And so if you look at the difference so here's your hip roof, here's your gable, okay? So your gable is viewable, whereas in a hip, it's not. And it's not as steep, it's more shallow. Here are some examples of some hip roofs. Then we have our flat roof. This is a roof that is horizontal or nearly horizontal. If you look at the picture on the left, you will see that it has a tiny, tiny little slope. That's still considered a flat roof because it's mostly sloped. It's mostly flat with just a tiny, tiny slope. And so that means it is still considered a flat roof. These are very common in modern type homes. Here are some examples of those flat roofs. Okay, and then we have a mansard roof. This is a hipped roof with, so if you look at the diagram on the left side, you can see that the very top of the roof is a hip. Every part is covered. And then it has 2 pitches, the bottom pitch being very steep and the top pitch being flatter, so it's usually not seen from the ground. You usually can't see the top of a mansard roof because the second pitch is so much more steep, if that makes sense. And these are also going to be, they're very common in the eastern part of the United States. Here are some examples of some mansard roofs. Very common in Victorian homes as well. So if you go into the older parts of Farmington, you may see a lot of Victorian style homes. Also, downtown Ogden has a lot of Victorian style homes. You'd probably be able to find a lot of these roofs here. And then we have a salt box roof. This is a gabled roof with 1 slope that is longer and lower than the other. These kind of roofs kind of remind me of like old schoolhouses, personally. That's kind of what I picture when I see these. I don't see them very often. They are very they're not super common, so when I do see one, it definitely sticks out a lot more. But you have your, one side is not as steep as the other side. And so, like the front part of the house or the back part, one part of the house has more floors than the second part of the house. Here are some examples of those salt box roof styles. Okay, and then we have our shed roof. This is a roof with a single slope. Also very common in, sorry, I had to pause the video while I was recording, so I can't remember what I stopped saying. But this is your shed roof, and this is a roof with a single slope. And they are also a lot more popular, obviously, on sheds and then on modern and contemporary more architecture. So here are some examples of the shed roof. Okay. So here is your assignment that you're going to do for your roof styles. You are going to create a PowerPoint presentation that contains 8 slides, a title slide, and 7 slides for your roof styles. On each slide, you will write the name of the roof style, including the definition, and include 2 pictures of that roof. If you want to use large-scale pictures, that's totally fine. Just include more slides and then submit on Canvas by your deadline. And then here is your assignment part 2. You will need to drive around and take pictures of different roof styles that you see. There are 7 different roof styles that we discussed. You need to find 5. And then you will put the 5 styles that you take pictures of into a PowerPoint presentation, title each slide the name of the roof style, and submit on Canvas by the deadline. If you have any questions or concerns on any of these assignments, just shoot me an email and I can try and explain it a little bit further. Let's move on to day 2, which is going to be your window styles. So, first we have our casement window. This is a window that has hinges on the sides and they swing in or out. These are going to be like the windows that you see Cinderella or any type of Disney princess fly open and summon all the animals to come. That's a casement window. They're not super common in like just traditional architecture. They are they're more expensive, if that makes sense, but the place that you would probably see them most often would be a kitchen. That's where I would see them mostly. Here are some examples of some, this is called a French casement because they have 2 windows and you open them kind of like French doors. And that would be above a sink. Here's another example of them above a sink. Like I said, they are more common in kitchens. Then we have our double hung windows. This is a sash window where both sections are operable. This is the windows that you slide up, but that would be, if you have a window that slides upwards, that's a single hinge. If the top also slides down, like you see in the picture on the left, it means it's a double hung. And then they also have triple hung windows as well, okay? But here are your, here's a double hung window. It's where both sections are operable. You can lift up the window and you can also pull down, just like in the picture you see on the left side. Here are some examples of some double hung windows. Okay, then we have a dormer window. This is one of my favorite types of windows. They are windows that project from the attic, and I just think they're really cool and really pretty. So if you have one of these windows, that's pretty cool. I like these windows a lot. Here are some examples of those dormer windows being shown. Okay, then we have a picture window. This is a large window consisting of 1 pane of glass. These windows do not usually open. It's 1 large window, 1 pane of glass. And if you look at the pictures on the left and right, that's what they look like. Here are some more examples of some picture windows. Again, you can have different like decorations added to these windows. If you look at the picture on the left, you can see that it's got like those lines in the windows, and then on the right, it also has like the checkered type look. That's still a picture window. It just has different panes to, it gives it a little bit more character to it. Here we have a bay window. This is my other favorite kind of window. This is a window built to project outwards from an outside wall in a square or rectangular configuration. Here is the bay windows. They're very, I like them a lot. I think they add a lot of character to a home or to a space, and I just think they're gorgeous. I love bay windows. So here's some examples. I love this bay window above this sink that has like the herb garden growing in it. What a creative like use of space. I absolutely love that window. Here's another popular style in a living room type area. And then we have a bow window. So this is very similar to a bay window. However, it is curved where a bay window is more angled. So the way that I remember this is going to sound really weird, but I always say like bangular, like a bay window is angular, bangular, and a bow window is like oval. So I say bovular. I know that sounds really weird, but that's how I've always remembered it. So like bangular and bovular. But your bow windows are very similar to bay windows. However, they have an extra, they're usually 4 or more windows. And so it makes more of a curved round look instead of an angled look. So here are some examples. If you look at the picture on the left, you can see the difference between the bay and the bow. And then here's a picture of that bow window on the left. Here's another picture of bow windows. I like these too, but I like bays a lot better. If I had to choose between one, I think bays look a lot better, but that's just my personal opinion. Okay, and then we have a Palladian window, okay? And this is a fan half round window, okay, as you can see at the top. And it is centered above 3 rectangular windows. So you got your 3 rectangular windows, and then you have a fan half round window on centered in the middle of those 3 windows. These are pretty fancy. I like them a lot. I think they're really pretty. They add a lot of character to a window, and I just think they look really nice. They are very formal, so you'll see them in a little bit more of like formal type spaces, and just kind of depends on the style and what you like. I'm not a huge fan of the one on the left just because I don't like I don't like those kinds of curtains, which we do talk about in this class as well, those types of curtains. I do like the one on the right a little bit better. Okay, then we have our skylight window. This is a window that is set into the roof or ceiling, and they're very common in attics or obviously the top floor because they're in the roof or ceiling. So here are some examples of some skylight windows. Add in lots of extra light. Okay, and then we have our fan half round window. It's like the window that you saw. It's part of the Palladian window, but it can also be by itself as well. This is a half circle shaped window, usually placed above a door or a pediment. It doesn't have to be over another set of windows, but it's very common to see them over another set of windows. The reason the picture on the left is not a Palladian window is because it doesn't have 3 windows. This is just 2 windows with a fan half round over top of it. To be a Palladian, it has to be centered over 3 windows. Here is an example of a fan half round that it is not over other windows. And then here it is again over 3 windows. However, this is still not a Palladian because it's not centered over the 3. It covers all 3 windows, if that makes sense. Okay, and then we have our side light windows. This is a vertical, narrow row of windows used on one or both sides of a door. This is very common on front door entrances if you have a door that does not have any windows in it. This is a very common use of windows. It's for people who, they can see who's coming to their house, things like that. If you do have a side light, you do want to make sure you have some kind of privacy setting. Like if you look at the picture on the left, you can see that it's got frosted glass. This helps so you still have privacy. People can't really see into your house. My parents' old home they used to had a side light window that had no kind of protective privacy setting on their glass or whatever, and I didn't like it because people could always see into your house, and I could never hide from salespeople because if they knocked on the door they could see me walking around, and I didn't like that. So if I have a side light window, I always make sure I have some kind of privacy glass in there. Here are some examples of some stained glass windows, which are kind of a cool little different look, adds a little bit of character to it. If you have a side light, it's a way to add privacy without with also adding some color. Then we have our most common window that you'll see in most every single house multiple times. It's a sliding window, and it's a window that slides horizontally. It's very, very common. You probably have several in your home. Here are some sliding windows. Okay, and then your assignment is going to be to create a PowerPoint presentation that contains 12 slides, a tile slide, and 11 slides for the window styles. On each slide, you will write the name of the window style, including the definition, and include 2 picture examples of that window. Do not forget to use all caps because you are doing professional lettering. If you want to use large scale pictures, that's totally fine. Just include more slides and submit on Canvas by the deadline. Assignment part 2, I want you to see how many different types of windows you have in your house. So this one doesn't require you to drive around at all. And some people are going to turn in more pictures than others, and that's totally fine. There are 11 different window styles that we discussed. I want you to see how many you have in your home. Take a photo of each window that you find, and so even if you only have one type of window, like in my apartment that I live in, I have one kind of window, and it's a sliding window. So if I were to be turning this assignment in, I would turn in one picture. Whereas some people may have bay windows, dormer windows, sliding windows, side light windows, things like that. And so some people are going to turn in more, if that makes sense. You get points just if you turn in the pictures. So take a photo of each window that you find, put the different styles that you take pictures of into a PowerPoint presentation, and title each slide the type of window that is in the picture. Submit on Canvas by the deadline. If you have any questions, please shoot me an email or a message in Canvas or on Remind, and I can explain a little further if you're confused. Okay, day 3, let's talk about doors. So, first you have your single door. It's the most common kind of door. It's a hinged single entrance into a building or door. These are the doors I have in my classroom. These are the doors I have in my bedroom. This is the entrance door I have into my apartment. This is the doors you're going to see pretty much everywhere. It's a single door. But because they're so common, I want to show you some cool ones. Some things that are a little bit different. If you look at this rounded door on the left, you can see that the doorknob's in the center, which is kind of weird, but kind of cool. Then you have this really cool blue door on the right. Here we have this owl-shaped door. This owl, which is just super, super cool. That blue door in the middle, I think, is a really cool use of windows. And then this iron door that I thought was pretty. Then we have our French doors. This is double casement type door that opens in or out with glass panes throughout its length. Okay. These are gorgeous. I love French doors. They're very common in dining rooms, or if you're going out onto a patio, or if you're going out onto a deck of some kind or a balcony, that's where you'll most likely see them. Some people have French doors as their main entrance, but it's not super common. You'll see them more as second entrances into homes. Here are some really cool French doors as well. Here is, I really like these ones with the diamond type panes in the glass on the left, and I think it's really cool to have in a bathroom. You have a second one, these ones are rounded at the top, which I think are really cool, and then this one that has French doors that lead into a living room on the right, which I think is a really cool look as well. Okay, then we have a sliding door. This is a door that opens by sliding instead of swinging on a hinge. Very common in back doors that lead out to the backyard. That's where you'll see these most often. Also, a very popular door that's being used right now in interior design is called a barn door. It's where they slide on a hinge on the top, on a rack, on a sliding rack. And they're very popular. And as you can see, that would also be considered a sliding door because it slides open. This one's really cool. If you look at the left side, this is like a living room that's got 2 ways to enter. You've got the way that you can see right on, and then you could have one that's right off onto your right side. And both of those doors, if you want to close it off, close together, which I think is a really cool look. Here we have on the right side 2 sliding doors as well that close together to close, and I like that look a lot as well. Okay, then we have a bifold door. This is a door with a vertical double panels that fold back against itself. This is frequently used for closet doors, pantry doors, laundry room doors. You'll see this pretty often in those spaces, mostly in closet doors though. Here's a really cool bifold door that has multiple sets that opens up, and it's like a divider in between rooms. There's your most common use of a bifold door on this one looks like it's in a pantry, if I can tell what is in there. I think it looks like it's a pantry. Here you have some bifold doors that are themed. If you, this looks like it's a sports themed room, and so they made it look like closets. They made it look like lockers. And you pull that center knob and that opens the door. And then you have one this one is these wood paneled bifold doors, and they look like, I think that's a washer and dryer in there. Okay, and then we have my favorite doors in the whole world. I love these doors so much. I don't know why I love them. I think I like them because number one, they save so much space, and I just really like the look of pocket doors. I put 1, 2, 3 in my apartment because I like them so much when I was building them. I love pocket doors. And it's such a great way to save space. So this is a door that slides into a compartment in the adjoining wall. So it's different than a sliding door because a pocket door, it's like it's being put into a pocket. It slides into its pocket casing, which is in the adjoining wall. And so it's different than a sliding door that just slides open on a hinge or a rack. Here we have some really cool pocket doors. This is like one that goes into those houses that are really, really large that have second pantries in them, or the pantries have sinks in them. It's like super unnecessary, but it's really cool. The next one is also into a pantry, and I like, it would be cool to add a pop of color in a pocket door because if it just is fun. Like this yellow one, all of a sudden it's gone and then it's there. Pop of color. I love it. Here we have some really cool ones that have some stained glass type decoration in them that open up into the kitchen. And then you have this one that is goes into a bedroom, which I think is really cool as well. I am absolutely obsessed with pocket doors. And so now your assignment is going to be just like your window assignment. You're going to create a PowerPoint presentation that contains 6 slides, a title slide, and 5... Oh, sorry. Scratch what I just said. You're going to create a PowerPoint presentation that contains 6 slides, a title slide that has 5, and then 5 slides for the window styles, just like the one you're doing with your doors and roofs. On each slide, you will write the name of the door style, include the definition, and include 2 picture examples of that door. Do not forget to use professional lettering. And then if you want to use large-scale pictures, that's totally fine. Just include more slides and submit on Canvas by your deadline. And then assignment part 2 is I want to see how many different types of doors you have in your house. There are 5 different door styles we discussed. For me personally, if I were to be turning this assignment in, I would be turning in 2 different photos because I have single doors in my house and I have pocket doors. But some people are going to have a single pocket French door. Some people are going to have bifold doors, sliding doors, things like that. So I want to see all the different doors you have in your house. So some people are going to turning in more pictures than others, and that's totally fine. Take a photo of each door that you find and put the different styles that you take pictures of into a PowerPoint presentation. Title each slide the type of window that is in the picture. Sorry, that's supposed to say door. The type of door that's in that picture and submit on Canvas by the deadline. And we were going to play a matching game, but I'm not there. So yeah, that is Unit 2. We just went through and identified everything in Unit 2. So now that you're done with that, I want you to go through and work on your assignments that I assigned you, the part 1s, and that's what you're going to do the rest of the time with this in class. And then the other ones you'll have to do with driving around and looking in your house. Bye!